Agree or disagree? It's better for students to live in dorms during their first 1 or 2 years of college. Please prepare your answer after the beep. Please begin speaking after the beep. Read a passage from a campus newsletter. Listen to a talk between two students. Did you hear that we'll be able to keep using the online lecture recordings until the end of the year?
Yeah, I heard, but honestly, I don't think it's necessary.
Really? Why not?
Well, first, when I finish a course, I rarely go back to the material. I try to learn everything during the semester. So having access for months afterward doesn't make much difference for me. If I need to prepare for finals, I just use my notes instead of rewatching videos.
But some people like to review.
True, but the bigger issue is that storing those files online for that long is expensive for the university. A professor once told me the system slows down because of the huge storage demands. If the school keeps everything for months, it could make the platform less reliable. That seems like a bigger problem than just extending access.
I hadn't thought about that. The woman expresses her opinion about the announcement. Briefly summarize the announcement. Then state her opinion and explain the reasons she gives for holding that opinion. Please prepare your answer after the beep. Please begin speaking after the beep. Read a passage from a psychology textbook. Listen to part of a lecture in a psychology class. When I was a college freshman, I decided to learn several hundred biology terms before the midterm exam. At first, I read the entire glossary every night, thinking that daily review would keep everything fresh. I noticed, however, that even though I recognized the words in the moment, I often forgot them just days later. The problem was that my memory never had to struggle to retrieve the information. Because the reviews happened too soon, the terms felt familiar, but they did not stick deeply. That meant I was wasting time, since constant repetition created only surface familiarity rather than strong recall. By the second week, I realized I needed a different method to make the knowledge last. So, I experimented with a new pattern, reviewing the list one day after first study, then 3 days later, then after a full week. Each time I returned to the material, it felt slightly harder to remember, yet I could still bring the words back with effort. That small struggle gave my brain a signal to strengthen the connections. Over the next month, I noticed a clear change in my learning. Instead of fading away quickly, the terms became more stable in memory. I could recognize them instantly when I saw them and recall them accurately without cues. The reviews took less time overall, since the spacing allowed longer breaks between sessions. By the time the exam arrived, I knew the vocabulary far better than in earlier courses. Using spaced repetition gave me stronger retention with fewer total hours of study. The experience convinced me that this method is not only effective, but also efficient for long-term learning. Using the example from the lecture, explain how spaced repetition improves memory and supports long-term learning. Please prepare your answer after the beep. Please begin speaking after the beep. Listen to a lecture in a business class.
Companies today use many ways to attract customers, and two of the most common are specific marketing strategies. These strategies are important because modern markets are full of competing brands. Customers face many choices, so businesses must stand out to capture attention. In our discussion, we will look at two strategies that are often used to shape consumer appeal. The first strategy is called emotional branding, and it focuses on building a deep emotional link between a customer and a product. Instead of talking about technical details, a company highlights feelings such as joy, nostalgia, or comfort. For instance, Coca-Cola has long used advertising that shows people smiling, celebrating, or sharing moments of happiness. The product is presented less as a drink and more as a symbol of positive emotions. This method can create a strong connection in the customer's memory. Over time, the consumer may associate that brand with important life experiences. Emotional branding is powerful because people do not only buy products, they buy the feelings attached to them. This approach often leads to long-term loyalty, since customers keep returning to the brand that feels right for them. The second strategy is scarcity marketing, which influences consumers by emphasizing limited availability. Instead of focusing on emotions, this method creates urgency and fear of missing out. For example, sneaker companies often release limited edition shoes with only a small number available. Because people believe the product is rare, they rush to purchase it quickly. This creates excitement and even competition among buyers. Scarcity marketing can push sales very fast, but the effect is often short-term. Unlike emotional branding, it usually does not produce lasting loyalty, since the appeal ends once the rare item is gone. Still, when used carefully, scarcity marketing can raise demand and increase attention around a product launch.
Using the examples of Coca-Cola's happiness ads and limited edition sneakers, explain 2 marketing strategies to shape consumer appeal. Please prepare your answer after the beep. Please begin speaking after the beep.